This is Kara. Welcome to Breaking Free Fridays, or welcome back if you've been following the series. Gosh, it's great to be back. I've been a little out of sequence on the regular Fridays. As you may have heard from the last video I posted, I've just been navigating some really challenging things. And as a result, I've had to make some tough choices in terms of putting my own self-care just priority, which it's always a huge priority for me, just and as part of doing the inner work in general. But in particular, during these times, as I've been navigating some really challenging personal situations related to some family health situations that have been pretty emergent and have required a lot of attention and energy on my part, and for me to be able to be there and be my best in support of those I love very dearly. It's really meant some increased focus and also just taking extra care of my own energy and my own center to be able to be there in the best way possible. And as a result, I really felt drawn to talking about navigating challenging health circumstances, whether it's something that you're going through yourself directly or you're helping someone that you care about navigate that. And if you happen to be in my age, you might be in that sandwich phase where you find yourself dealing with, some aging parent health challenges and really tricky times, and also some challenging times for your children and their age and what that might be demanding of you. And so it invites us into so much in terms of expansion, and also just those really difficult things that really force us to look at some of the patterns and things that might be holding us back. And so I wanted to start with a couple of things related to just navigating the health system in general. And one thing I really invite you to look at, if you haven't already, is the idea of an expanded realm of the health world and what it means to really take care of your health and well-being, and looking at it beyond the lens of only traditional Western medicine. Traditional Western medicine has its place, and it is incredibly important. And in certain areas, it is the only answer. And yet there are also things that are very limited in that world. And so when we think about, surrounding ourselves with a team and resources that really serve us incredibly well, it can mean looking at a team that includes things like Western medicine and maybe even different facets of that, different specialties, different realms of that, but also our own empowerment in terms of health and well-being and what that looks like in terms of taking care of our physical body, really, getting movement, being active, nourishing ourselves, and, having good sleep, taking in things that really serve our body well, in terms of what we're eating and what we're drinking and what we're feeding our soul, in terms of what we're taking in, the frequency that it has. And I'm talking about things like what we might be watching or hearing or participating in terms of, conversations and things like that. That all feeds into our health and well-being in general. And then the other piece has to do with what we can surround ourselves in terms of supportive areas like herbal medicine. There's things like homeopathy, naturopathic medicine, support systems like that. There are so many phenomenal types of body work. And if you've ever found yourself, looking into that realm and accessing different types of body work, there are phenomenal resources that way. Things like reflexology, acupuncture, craniosacral therapy. The list goes on and on. There are incredible resources that help actually support the body. Things that most people are more commonly aware of, massage therapy, aromatherapy, crystal therapy, healing touch, energy work, light work. The list goes on and on, different ways to support our health and well-being. And the other piece has to do with really examining our thoughts and our emotional patterns, because at the end of the day, one of the things that we can count on is that things that are lower frequency vibration, thought patterns, emotional patterns, things of toxic exposure, whether it's through the air that we breathe or even foods that we eat or medicines that we might take, we can create maladaptations in our system. And, the body is incredibly resilient. And for a while, it just adapts. It adapts. We might think things are fine, but over time, those maladaptations result in significant symptoms, possibly disease manifestations and things of that nature. And our bodies are incredibly powerful healers. They just need our help to come back into balance and into a place where they can actually really do the magical work that our bodies are so incredibly adept at doing. We just have to help them get to that place. And so there's so many options there. But going back to this area that is touching on my heart so directly right now, and that has to do with navigating some of the traditional realms of support and even tapping into insurance. And one of the things that you'll find, there's a lot of complexity there. And I think one of the challenges that happens for people is they might be dealing with a very difficult situation, and it helps so much to have a family member or a loved one, a friend, somebody that can be an advocate, that can help in navigating all of that, especially in the case of, aging parents who might be less technically inclined, where we're dealing with, portals and, systems that are more digitized and electronic, and it might be more challenging for certain people. The other piece has to do with all of the different areas of navigating and trying to keep that straight. And when you're in the middle of a really challenging health situation, it can be a little difficult to keep all of that clear. So having somebody there that has your best interest at heart, that's helping take in the information that is coming forward from different healthcare team members, that's helping navigate appointments and insurance and questions, and all of that can be so incredibly valuable. And I just, if you happen to find yourself in this situation or know of, loved ones that you care about that might be going through something, encourage them to have an advocate or be an advocate, in their process. It can make an incredible difference in terms of the experience that a person has in their health journey, as well as the outcomes, and what ultimately is for their highest good. Different practitioners, whatever realm they're working in, traditional, alternative, Eastern, any of that, they mean well. They got into this because they care and they want to help people. But they have a glimpse. And so, there are limitations sometimes, just in any of these areas. So having that advocate can just mean all the difference. If you found yourself in a situation like this or are facing something, share in the comments. It helps so much to really connect in our community and see, what people are finding is making a difference, where they have found either being an advocate themselves or that they've had an advocate has really made a difference in their own health journey. I would love to hear, what's landing for you on this topic. And if you're enjoying these videos, please send them to loved ones, family, friends, subscribe and send a like. And the other thing, just as a last thing to leave with you, is one of the things that I found particularly liberating and empowering in this time frame, where I've been basically forced to really prioritize in a way that sometimes, I've just had more time to really fit everything in, is there's dear friend and mentor. I love, he says this: I forgive myself. Forgiveness is such a key to liberating. And, we all hear this often about forgiveness. It's not really about other people. It's really our own, liberation from within, and that piece of freedom that we get from taking that step. And the other piece is really finding that middle ground, walking that dance between when we have tough prioritization coming up and we're having to ebb and flow with challenges that are coming in, with things that we might normally want to prioritize, differently. It really shines a light on perspective, and it gives us a really good opportunity to see where our inner growth has allowed us to relate to certain thought patterns, emotional patterns, behaviors, and even circumstances differently. And this is one of the things that I want to share with you, that even when you're in the thick of something that's really challenging, and in these last few weeks, I've had some moments where I've really spiraled out a couple of times. And the beauty of the inner work is that it's allowed me to rely on incredible tools, to learn new things, and also to have new ahas, new breakthroughs, and to validate the work, and to get to a place of quicker movement through those challenges. And that is something that's so exciting and helpful. So I encourage you, even when it feels like you're hitting a point where it's like, what is the point? That the work seems harder than the reward. Keep going, stay the course, and just remember that this too shall pass, and there are gems and gifts that are on the other side. So I am just cheering you on, wishing you a wonderful next week, and here's to your next level of empowerment and breaking free. It's great to see you again, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.